Hey, True Believers England team here, and it's Throwback Thursday, where we look at the reputation of any story, any back issue, any series, whatever, to find out, is it really that good? And as you said last week, Galactus Trilogy? Short answer, yes. That was, of course, Eric, which I don't think he's listening right now. All right, so yes, with me I have Eric, back issue Brink. You did not just freaking okay, so you magic boxed the first appearance of the Silver Surfer and Galactus. You seriously just did that. Wow. And there you go. I mean, you know, I've got to applaud you there. Okay.
He spent 10 grand yesterday.
No, I got this for $2 a long time ago. It was one of the few books I actually upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
And the upgraded one went when I sold the collection, and I just had this in a box. I thought I'd pull it out for tonight. Figured it would be fitting.
Might as well. Yeah, it obviously is, considering. Although, hold that up again.
It is crushed.
What is wrong with the Watcher on that cover? Because it looks completely different than the Watcher on.
Well, he doesn't have his glasses on.
Ah, that's it. There we go. All righty. I know we don't need a J.J. Abrams mystery box. We've got Eric Breen. All righty. So, yeah, we're going to go through this story. We are starting at the story. As you mentioned before, issue number 48 kind of ends the Inhumans storyline that was going on. And then it starts up in the middle. It's like, it doesn't even have and part two, here's the beginning of the story. It's just, let's go right on in.
Yeah, we just see the end of the Inhumans, and that's it.
And I noticed, by the way, that's how this book ends as well.
Yep. How
the trilogy ends. It's it ends in the middle of the or towards the middle of the 50th issue. And then it's like, oh, we're going to talk about some random stuff about what's coming up after, because we're a few pages short and all that.
As I said, it's about 2 pages longer than 2 issues. So the Galactus Trilogy is not really a trilogy.
Yep. Oh, say hello to Tehillium. How are you doing? We got Zach in the house. Joe Rogers, MK F30's here, saying he was just watching a video with you.
Well, thank you.
And I'm like gathering for everything right now. It's like I'm this close to just filming videos. There's so much, like, when you're gathering pictures, and it takes it. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. Let's get to this. Let's get to this story now. If you want, I'll let you have point, because this is one of your favorite stories of all time.
Go ahead.
Alrighty then. Oh, hold on just a second. I got to go kill the bird. I will be right back. Entertain the troops. Tell them a little history or whatever.
Well, I want to ask Breen, whose fault was it that we had a red and green Galactus in the first issue, 48, and then he became red and purple the next 2 issues?
I would blame the colorist.
That would be the anchor?
No, it'd be the colorist.
They don't list the colorist. They only list. They list.
Well, that wasn't that. You know, that wasn't. It's weird. That's something that's really come to prominence in the last couple of years. Yeah. You know, Joe Sinnott might have been the colorist as well, or they were just uncredited.
Yeah, because I thought that was kind of weird. I was like, he starts off as red and green and then goes to red and purple.
Well, they'd already used those colors for the scrolls, so they figured they might as well use up the rest of it.
It's right there. All right, we paid for this. We got it on sale. We're going to use these colors.
That's right.
Yeah. So I decided to do the background again, and then I'm wearing a green shirt, so why not have fun with it, right?
Boing, Mr. Nobody.
Boing, 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 boing. All righty, so let's get to the story here. Dun,
Talking
dun.
heads, everyone.
Yeah. All righty, as we said, should I go panel to panel or page to page? Page to page usually works on these, but
yeah, page to page. We'll probably end up. We'll go inside the numbers on the proper panels.
All right, cool. All right, so as we said, this is the top 4 panels is just ending the Inhuman storyline, and it starts off But life goes on, and somewhere in the deep vastness of outer space, an incredible figure hurtles through the cosmos, a being whom we shall call the Silver Surfer, for want of a better name. So you and I have both read that, especially in the history of the Marvel Universe, that the Silver Surfer, they were wanting of a better name.
They say that, but surfing was a big craze in the 60s. Space was a big craze in the 60s. I'm sure that was exactly what Stan wanted.
Yeah, you think he says it because he knows it's cheesy, but in real life, he was A-okay with it.
Oh, I guarantee he was.
Okay.
What better name could there have been than two of the things that had captivated people's thoughts in that particular time?
Yeah. All righty. So it goes on, and we actually see the scrolls, and you guys were talking about the same colors and everything as Galactus. And I got to tell you, I have not noticed that. I never noticed that before, that the scrolls and the Galactus are the same.
Just this issue.
Just this issue, because of the green and the purple. Right. So Galactus is a Skrull, says to Hillam, just in this issue.
don't give him any ideas to Hillam.
I know, right? That'll be the ultimate.
It's like he decided to change outfits the second issue. He's like, you know what? I sold my pants. I gotta go change my pants now.
Well, yeah, so that's a better question. Why is he wearing shorts? he looks like the cosmic version of the AC/DC singer.
Mean Angus Young?
Cosmic Angus Young, yes. You know what? We should all hope to one day be Cosmic Angus Young. Now, we do get they're flying home to the Baxter building, and this, I'm like, okay, this is 1960s right here, because Ben's like, no, seriously, I see two suns. And Reed Richards is all about, nah, dude, nah, you're not going to fool me with that one. Nope. I'm not even going to look over in your direction. Come on, man. This is a scientist.
Well, he had to keep his eyes on the sky.
Yeah, like you can't stretch.
His hands at 10 and 2.
Well, you never know what kind of traffic we're going to run into up here. I can't cock my head.
This is serious.
Slightly to the left.
It's a serious matter here. No, it's a concentrate.
He's flying a jet.
No,
why is the pilot flying the jet?
Why don't they have autopilot? Was that invented yet?
The Fantastic Cars were not invented yet here?
No, the Fantastic Car debut, the flying bathtub debuted in issue 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I must have been in the shop.
Okay.
But I said Ben's a test pilot. Why isn't he flying it? Then Reed could be going, hey, there's two suns.
Right. Ben can't touch anything without destroying it. He's got those just big hands. So
he can fly. That's well established. But hey, we're picking nits here. We've got a cosmic odyssey to talk about.
Yes, we do. And we're going to be picking a lot of nits while enjoying it, though, because this is actually one of the things that when I first read this, I thought was fantabulous. I don't know where I first read this issue, because I know it was the complete story. I didn't read this first in issue number 48. I must have gotten it in like an Origins of Marvel Comics or something like that, where we saw the first appearance of something. But I do remember finding it to be kind of scary that the sky had been lit on fire. And then I'm reading it now and I'm thinking, wow, sending Johnny Storm, which they all tried to stop him, to calm down a crowd after the sky's lit on fire.
This kind of reminds you, I think it was the Kree Skull War. Wasn't there a thing, Breen, where they had a projector?
Yeah, that was later. But you got to remember also, Johnny wasn't thinking clearly because he had just been torn away from the love of his life.
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that he would fly off half cocked. And as you said, the other three were like, what are you doing?
I think he signed you out. You got to sign back in.
Yeah, it did.
It happens at Ash too. Like it's a faulty thing,
Yeah. I guess so. I'm on all
Especially when you're paying for it unlimited and all that stuff, and like, you think they'd have all the hiccups and like.
Yeah, you would think. But I guess not. That is not very good. I do not like
It
this.
is bad service, as I say.
Yes. All right.
We could just read Breen's book. Hold it up the screen.
I know. Hold up the pages. There we go. That works, man. I'm okay with that.
If he dies,
Oops,
he dies.
if he dies, he dies. Who cares? Alrighty. Sorry about this, gang. Technical difficulty.
We need one of those music stands. He can just turn the page as he's standing behind it. Flip to the next page as you zoom in.
I could put it all on the back on the background. I'll just pick out all the pages and they'll be right there.
You mean tear them out of the book and then put them on the wall?
Damn straight, because that's what you do with a Fantastic Four number 48.
Yeah, you do.
It's a story. Now it's an official storyboard.
Could go out on a limb and say, how about no, you freaky deaky Dutch bastard? Alrighty, so there we go. We're back in business, and ain't it grand? Let me hit share. Number 48, and we're good. Alrighty. So yeah, he flies over the crowd trying to calm everybody down, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, the Human Torch set the world on fire. What are we gonna do?" And somebody has the brilliant plan to blast him with a fire hose, which knocks him into the crowd, and they basically proceed to beat the crap out of him until the Thing shows up.
Man, 1960s must have been very accessible for fire hoses.
Well, yeah, we really had them in the 1980s too. You could just go over, who wants a drink from the fire hose?
Now,
yeah.
I don't know about you, E, but this is one of my favorite pages in any comic book ever.
Okay.
Yeah, it starts with, "So you're the big bad thing, huh? Well, mister, you don't look so tough to me. You're breathing on my baby blues, Buttercup. Now take off before I bat you all the way from here to Yancey Street." I said, "Oh, you had some, yeah, I'll let it when he just gets there. He goes, 'Don't worry, tough guy. This ain't going to be hurting you for long.' Plink." The plink is what makes it.
Now, one of the weird things to me was the line, "You're breathing on my baby blues." Like, you are breathing on my eyes. That's basically what he just said. I was like, that's kind of strange, man.
When I first read it, I'm like, "His underpants?" And then I realized, no, it's talking about his eyes.
It's alliteration from Stan. So any chance to alliterate, he's going to take it.
There you go.
Are you full screen?
Am I?
I don't know. I'm just asking. Now you are. Okay.
A belt and little Bonza.
Whoa.
Is it getting any? Never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence.
Excuse me, getting any bigger?
Gail, your husband has a question for you.
Okay.
They all knowing floating head has some questions.
Say again.
So they all knowing floating right head.
Let's see. Yeah, I was wondering about that. Kind of hit and miss. White Cape. It looks like Flash almost. YouTube hates you. They unsub me from your channel. What did you do? I questioned them why they keep unsubbing people from my channel. Apparently, they don't like that kind of thing.
Bianca, you were drunk and you did it yourself. Can't blame it on us.
Alrighty, so let's go on. Let's move on. He does knock that guy out, and the Reed Richards and Sue Richards fly down, and they're noticing that hey, look, whoever's doing this is going to be incredibly powerful. So we need to get used to the idea that we're going to be in a big old fight. And they go in, and they're actually kind of just chill, except for Sue, who is really, really mad that Reed decided to go to the lab instead of take her to dinner. You want to read off that bottom panel when she goes to him and says, "Hey, I'm hungry." I love this bit. Reed Richards isn't quite happy with his wife complaining that she's hungry at the moment.
For the love of Pete, bitch. I mean, girl. Is that what you disturbed me for? Get your ass back to the kitchen and make me a sandwich.
Yeah, but come on. They just saw the sky on fire, and she's like, he just left. He just left and he went to work. He's like trying to figure out this whole thing instead of taking me out for a burger.
Well, it makes it sound like he's been in there for like 17, 18 hours, as Reed does. He's just having fun. Until you find out he's hiding someone in there.
Yeah, look, I get it. If the guy comes home and, you know, turns on freaking Halo or whatever, but no, there's fire in the sky, and he's working on a problem here.
Sue's already read issue 50.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it does not put her in the best light, obviously, but
well, what she says,
but it adds drama.
The next
remember, this story is 56 years old now.
What she says the next page, you know, is like, men always making excuses for each other. I'm making, and both genders do that, not just guys.
Yeah, but she decides to huff and puff, and then Johnny's like, I just can't believe my eyes. The fire's gone, but now there's a whole bunch of rocks, and we find out it's like meteor fragments, and Sue's really mad that she's not being treated like a wife right here, and I just don't get it. I mean, that's just poor writing on Stan's part.
I was half-heartedly expecting her to go to be like, Gamer, you want to hang out?
Okay. Well, at least the second time, she does say she's more concerned about the fact that he hasn't eaten, not about taking her to dinner.
Yeah.
And she says, and you won't take time out for dinner.
Yep.
Oh,
so
there
I
you
said
go.
that's. I mean, so I think he pulled out.
I'm sure he did at some point.
He probably didn't get the opportunity after not taking her to dinner, but that's beside the point.
I think that was mind game. She's like, well, at least eat something, you know, but. Yeah, she's just trying to worm her way.
That too. So anyway, this is why are we turning the Fantastic Four dirty? So the Watcher shows up and says, "Hey, it was my doing, thanks to my little doohickey here." What are the Watcher's powers? Seriously, at one point in time during this story, he sends the Human Torch across a freaking universe, yet. He's filling the sky with fire and rocks thanks to his mechanical doohickey here. Yet all we ever hear about is their Watchers. They are history keepers. Like,
okay, but you read the story. You know that he has a special affinity for planet Earth.
Yeah,
and this is the most he ever broke his vow. And basically, his powers. It's one of those. You're not really supposed to know. Like, you're not supposed to know what Miss Othmar looks like. Yeah, it's just up to you to imagine. And I'm not to sound glib, but I mean, that's kind of the way it was with the Watcher's powers. You get the feeling he can pretty much do anything. And Galactus even says, in all the known universe, only, the Watcher has power to rival me. So
yeah, but over the years, but then again, we can't trust modern day writers. And for that, I mean, actually in the last 20 years to find any consistency, but he's one of those characters, much like Galactus, that I feel have gotten nerfed over the last
no question.
years. Let's see. Uatu was fat, aren't we all? Well, Mr. Fantastic could stretch and expand his body. That's why Sue stayed married to him in all these years. And that's why I said one of the funniest missed jokes was when in Bendis's Avengers, when they're all hanging there naked and they're talking about Luke Cage being endowed. I would have loved for Luke Cage, like somebody just go, "Are you the bit?" And he goes, "Reed Richards." And then everybody go, "Oh," yeah, you're right. So, yeah, and he talks about the fact that there is somebody coming. And it's not so much him, but the person that dude, not every word, okay?
But you follow up with that after talking about these. Okay, never mind. It's just funny.
Yeah, and he's trying to warn them about the Silver Surfer, and he says, too late. He's here. And the Silver Surfer flies down, I guess, onto the roof of the Baxter building? Is that what's going on?
Yeah,
on the outside of it.
Okay,
and then he he dodges Johnny and he lands.
And then
call Galactus.
Yeah, then sends out a call for Galactus.
He's calling collect.
We kind of get this, Rise of Silver Surfer is brought up here with Sue kind of paying more attention to the wedding than the fact that the Silver Surfer and all that is showing up. But Silver Surfer has no problem whatsoever avoiding Johnny's storm, and he gives out his signal, and we see the thing come up, and the thing just bonks him right off the roof. But the Silver Surfer's like, he'll be okay. He was trying to get away from you. And then we see something, and I don't remember seeing this much afterwards, but a sphere, a universe-spanning sphere, as he says, right? What is it?
See the great sphere is opening.
Yeah, a universe-spanning. So this, I don't remember seeing the sphere very much in later appearances of Galactus.
This is where this is like crazy here in the art.
It usually looked different depending on who was drawing it.
Now, see,
right? Okay,
this stands out from all the other panels. Like, this is like great art. This is almost
or in this case, who was photocopying it?
Yeah,
because Kirby was into that.
Yeah,
he would use stock photos of space and insert characters and things like that into them.
I was gonna say, because this is like heavy metal kind of like stuff you'd see in like this far out.
It was the psychedelic 60s, man.
Has Modern Marvel ever explained why the Watchers watch the universe?
Aren't they all dead?
I think it's one of those things that's just left unspoken, or should have been.
I thought
I'm sure some modern writer with delusions of competency has done some sort of hackneyed explanation for it, but I never needed to know.
Yeah, as far as I know, I thought he's dead. Now his eyeball has a body or something like that.
Let's see. Galactus is clearly the most well endowed, and let's see, bigger than the moon. And Roberts is saying, who is better endowed, Galactus or Florida? Actually, Florida is Galactus's severed penis. All righty, let's move on here. And okay, so the sphere pops out, and boom, we've got Galactus. You want to read his little speech there? Because I can't see it.
My journey is ended. This planet shall sustain me until it has been drained of all elemental life. So speaks Galactus.
And boom, we've got the end of the first chapter of the Galactus Trilogy. Little review. What do you think? Venkman, you're kind of new to this. What did you think?
Well, as I said before offline, I was reading this. I'm like, why do I know what's happening before it happens? And because I watched the cartoon from 1994, it was actually word for word, panel for panel. I was shocked that that Marvel did a cartoon and actually did it based off the comic with the comic pretty much reenacted. So,
Okay.
so I already knew what's going on with the next issue. Because I remember when he got knocked off, I'm like, that's right there. I was like, wow. And I not to say I liked the cartoon and I like this story. I mean, I was just joking because of the fact that Galactus is red and green in this issue for whatever reason, and then they must have said, you know what? Stan's like, I don't like the colors. Let's probably change or something, or Kirby, whoever was wanted thinking of what he looks like. But then again, maybe he's just red and green because he killed all the Skrulls. He's just covered with blood.
He just took their bodies and their armor and put them all over them.
Or maybe it's just a printer error.
Maybe, but let's go with the skinned alive Skrulls thing. That just seems more.
Well, they were pretty terrified of him.
Yeah. All right, Eric. Did you actually read this one, or were you just like, I don't need it. I don't need to read it. I'm good.
Oh, no, I read it from 9 to 10. Obviously, I've read it multiple times over the years, and I just when I read this story, this time when I read it, I got a little aggravated at Donny Cates because I said this character is no one's herald. It's just the creativity that went into just this to say nothing of the first half that we didn't cover,
Yeah.
and then to go right into this, the stilted dialogue of Sue notwithstanding in that on the one page, this is incredible stuff. And considering it was 65 or 66, I think it's just amazing. You think about it, it's just 55 years ago, and I said it still holds up as one of the best stories I've ever read, and arguably, well, not arguably, one of the best stories ever done. And it was right in the middle of probably their creative apex on this title, because we've talked about everything that happened. You create the Inhumans before that, drop the Surfer and Galactus on us, and then Black Panther, and then this monster in between this and that.
Yeah, this is
amazing.
Yeah, it is. The issue itself, like you said, this is the B story, ladies and gentlemen. That's the weird thing. This is the B story of issue number 48. And that's one of the things I think that really cannot be understated. That you're right. They finished the story and said, okay, we'll start this one. Here you go. And granted, you never know you're going to create something that lasts, something classic while you're doing it. But you're right. It does hold up so far. So very good. Can you give me a few? Can you read some comments or talk about just a little bit? I got to get rid of that damn bird. That bird's driving me nuts. So
yeah,
I'll be right back.
All right.
Open the window.
Yeah, I think so.
The Watchers are clearly holding the universe eternal. Well, now keep moving. Is there a mouse present? Not that I'm aware of. Found one last night, but that's another story. And a bird that won't shut up. That's Twiddles. I love comics mascot. We didn't ask for it, but we got him. I do wonder if Twiddles would go after the mouse. Shit. If Galactus ate the Earth now in real life, I think he'd be fine with it.
I think that he's afraid of the ultimate nullifier. Nah,
we're not there yet.
I think Twiddles is probably worse.
Twiddles is the ultimate annoyifier.
It's just funny though, for how old this story is, like that device and all that stuff keeps popping up throughout the years. I don't know why it would pop up again, because you can only use it for one thing.
Well, yeah, and it should never have popped up again, because I doubt seriously if Galactus would have
given it away.
Yeah. I left it in the sock drawer.
But the ultimate nullifier?
Yeah.
Black Cat stole it again. Dang it.
Yeah, well, we got to talk about that powerful weapons of the Marvel Universe ending up in the wrong hands. Why the hell does a Daredevil informant have an Infinity Gem?
That didn't happen.
No, it didn't, because it was after 2010.
Yes, sir.
I am on that same page with you, man. All righty, so we move on to the Fantastic Four, issue number 49.
He's still green.
Yes, he is. All right, let me.
Like Brian said, they probably had a sale on that green ink, and they had to use it up.
Okay.
Don't let it waste.
Bum.
That is a cool cover, gotta admit.
It really is. This is classic cover.
That's literally Ingleton right now. He could just stick his hands out.
You do need a Galactus helmet.
I do.
He's got it.
You do now. Yeah, you are. You're wearing it now.
That looks awesome right there. Yeah, this should be the thumbnail. I should clip this. I gotta put enlarge this. So there you go. But that's what she said. Shut up. Oy vey. Great. It's telling me this bit again. I don't know. Oops! It did it again. Oh, Britney Spears, bring her back.
We need some of that '60s elevator music.
Dun 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 dun.
You might get copyright strike for that.
I know, right? Yeah, that's true. We gotta make it so it's
MKS,
nondescript.
you might want to rephrase that, what you just said.
Then Doom shows up and steals Galactus's power. What?
No.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Never mind. We're not.
We're
not going there. We're not going there.
We've been everywhere else.
Oh my goodness gracious! We are such a bunch of 12-year-olds sometimes. Okay, there we go. All righty, let's get to this one. So Galactus shows up, and they're like, "Holy crap, that guy's big!" And even Thing says, he says, "If you ask me that broad," what does he say? Bozo looks like he could pulverize the Watcher.
I like Reed having 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, he's definitely doing the George Michael beard on this one. Yeah. And then we get to, now this is classic right here. I'm glad that they included it in the Marvels. Alex Ross included
Hawkeye, right?
in the Marvels. Yeah, that's Hawkeye. I also like the G, by the way, and the story behind the G. This is the book that Breen and I reference a lot. It's called Marvel Comics, The Untold Story. And you do learn that Stan asks Jack Kirby, what's the G stand for? He went, God. So, so there you go. I just love this panel. This page, I guess.
I know a C for communism.
Name something bad about this other than the fact that he's wearing a skirt. There's just nothing bad about this.
He doesn't say anything in this page about anybody seen my pants from issue 48?
Yeah, I need my pants. I need my pants.
I told you he probably had to go, and he just came back out. He's like, "Oh,
no, this is very cool." And the only thing, it's almost like the members of the FF should have been even smaller in the panel, because I mean it's supposed to give you the idea of how insignificant they are compared to what's being played out.
Yeah, I always thought he was bigger. I thought he was bigger than the planet.
They're not actually up. It's forced perspective, kind of like, oh, I got big hands. It's forced perspective. That's all. They're in the foreground, therefore they look like they're at Galactus's thighs. Oh
no, I know that, but like I said, because Byrne kind of did the same thing in his Galactus trilogy, and he showed them basically looking like ants,
which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I do not like the modern day stuff. America Chavez walks up and has a conversation with Galactus. Why? He doesn't give a care about her. Yeah. She is food.
Right. We've talked about this, and I've made the concession that if Galactus is going to speak to anybody on this planet, it would be Reed Richards, because they have met. And he, although obviously Galactus considers himself vastly superior, he did help thwart his will once. And that kind of puts him on some kind of, not level playing field, but at least someone that wouldn't be completely beneath his notice. Beyond that, I can't think of anybody. Even characters more like, I know he worked with Thor several times, back when Marvel actually existed. And I guess that's, Thor is a god, so I guess you can make an allowance for that. But there are very few human-esque entities that Galactus should deign to speak to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All righty. So I love this. I love this bit right here. And things just going off, and Galactus completely ignoring him. He yells, "It's clobbering time." Boom. It's like, there you go. I guess this would be the same as what, an ant bite to Galactus? Been knocking him into
mosquito. As he describes them, they're all insects. Yeah. And what he throws down towards them.
Yeah, because Reed even says it's just sort of like an insect repellent that he uses on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he blasts him with some gas. Reed Richards rolls up into a carpet-like roll and just kind of gets him out of there. And Johnny Storm hits him with some heavy firepower, and Galactus absorbs it. fires it right back at him. And I love the look of incredulity in Johnny Storm's eyes. It's like, man, I don't know whether she should have been hurt. Don't know, man. Why is he like that? It's like he's almost offended by the fact that Galactus didn't actually get hurt or feel his power. God dang it, there's just no way to say that. This is really not going to work out today.
I mean, he got hit with gas and then he got burned.
And now he's got 5 o'clock shadow on his forehead.
Yeah. So what is it that the Watcher tells him in the last panel there?
There is nothing more you can do here. Return to the others. You shall hear from me anon. And Galactus says, the Silver Surfer, where is he? Where is my herald?
I like Joe Ratchet says, I bet Galactus knows Spidey. Everyone knows Spidey.
All righty. So they all go back to the Baxter building where they're basically recouping, soaking the wounds. Reed took the opportunity to shave, and we actually do find out where the Silver Surfer is.
You know, peeping Tom showing his junk off through the window.
Yeah, apparently so.
What junk?
He falls through the window and into Alicia Masters' apartment. And they just have a conversation. It's one of these, the nobility of the human race, and my master Galactus must feed. And Alicia cooks him dinner. If there's any line or something you really want to focus on or something, just give me a heads up. Because, go on ahead.
Are we just going to gloss over the fact that a building the size of the Baxter building, the thing has to take a bath in the same room that Reed's shaving in?
Yeah, that is kind of funny. The Baxter building has one bathroom.
It's the 60s, you know. They're saving on money because everyone into all his science stuff.
They really are the first family.
I guess so. Let's see. America Chavez is a woman. Yep, there you go. That's
Is she?
mainly an American and a woke minority in California. Any one of those qualities would lead her to believe she is universe-spanning importance.
Oh my God! It's just a talking head. LL says Kenny. It's like they saw you.
To see how Galactus should treat humans, read Dazzler 10 through 11. She gets picked to defeat Terrax. Galactus barely looks at her. Everything is done through his herald. Exactly.
They're calling you ego now.
That fits. All righty. And so Alicia's like, hey, you must be hungry, so I'll feed you. And we cut to the Baxter building where Galactus is now smaller. What happened?
Is he smaller, or is it just, because if you look at it, he's standing on top of the Baxter building. He is still several stories tall.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks so much smaller to me on that one. I do like the idea that he shrinks when he's hungry, but we see him putting together his world devouring machine, and the Watcher stops him and says, let me see if I can read this with my bad eyes. Wait, you must reconsider your strength is not yet equal of your courage before you press blindly forward. You must hear the words I speak. And of all people, it's Reed Richards who says, but there's no time. I'm thinking that's a The Thing line.
Okay, yes, but if any of the members of the Fantastic Four would understand would understand the gravity of the situation, it would be Reed. And this is still relatively new into their career, early in their careers. I could see him maybe this coming close to, like, for Reed, this is kind of like blowing his cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, and yes, he is. He's already very analytical, but he's also, he knows that if this goes south, the Watcher will be watching somebody else, and he'd be dead. So he's.
But
and your point is well taken. That is a Ben line, but Reed is kind of the one speaking to him. So I mean, it's it's a little out of character, but given the gravity of the situation, I can buy it.
I feel like he's kind of feeling hopeless. Reed's probably so smart. He's probably looking at every single outcome. And there's nothing he can do.
That's a good point.
That might actually frazzle him. But on the next page, first panel, you see Ben going, you hear him out, sister. That foghorn Fink has been treating us like a bunch of insects since he landed, and I had it right up to my baby blue-eyed peepers. And then Reed Richards says, another few seconds won't matter, Ben.
Yeah, he regained his composure.
You are just what do you call it? A sycophant, I guess. What's the word? Fanboy. You're fanboying out over Reed Richards here.
What I am is I am analyzing the page.
And smart and right. Yes. So Watcher tells the story about what Galactus's machine can do and will be doing as we see it basically just laying waste to another planet that manages to have squids and whales and dolphins in their oceans as well. And then let's see. But eventually the human race will have no place left to run. The planet encircling array will reduce the entire globe to a lifeless, empty husk. And when the Earth's fiery core itself is drained, Galactus will depart, leaving behind nothing more than a few fading fragments of what once was an inhabited world. And this kind of makes the Fantastic Four collectively poop in their pants. And the Watcher says, but he says, naturally, you wish to fight back as well you should, but you must do so with the wisdom. The Watcher has a plan. And Reed Richards, again, a plan. Plans are a dime a dozen. What we need is power, and the power to stop Galactus. And that's when the Watcher says, bear with me, I know of a machine, the likes of which cannot be found on Earth, the machine which may save the human race. Reed Richards asks him where it is.
Wow, it almost looks just like you. The glaring face and everything.
Why, thank you, sir. My mother and father modeled me off of the Watcher. They were big Fantastic Four fans.
All those Hostess pies are like...
They were put to use, man. All righty. So we flash back to Alicia Masters' apartment. Remember, she was feeding Silver Surfer. And he's like, eating takes too long. I'll just convert it to energy and absorb it. And he basically talks about how, got to get back to work. We're going to be destroying your planet and everything. And Alicia's like, no. Look, I could tell you had emotions before. You got to know that we love, we hate, we do all this, blah, blah, blah. But apparently everybody's trying to sell me something right now.
Man, if this was a McDonald's commercial, Galactus would be happy with a Happy Meal, and it'd be the end of the story.
There you go. So, Eric, you want to jump in here?
Well, no, I was just going to say real quick, going back to the scene before, you notice that Reed continues to kind of continue to lose it.
Yep.
So you may have a point. I might be fanboying just a little bit, but it would have been nice if you're damn straight, LK. I am a Reed apologist. if it had been brought up that when it was all said and done, that if Reed had said, I kind of lost it here, because you tell him, it's as the intellectual member of the team, he can't come to grips with what's happening and how helpless he is, because they've never lost a battle before it's ever even been fought. I mean, they've beaten everything that that's been thrown at them, from Dr. Doom to the Frightful Four. And I'm sure that Reed, more than anybody, recognizes how helpless their situation is.
I wonder if it's built on stress from the first part of this, before the story, where they're leaving the what's it called, Inhumans.
How does he care? He got to take his wife with him. Johnny's the one that got screwed.
Yeah,
that's true.
No, but I mean,
So then Alicia is still laying the guilt trip on the Surfer. And you notice when this was written, in later stories, I don't know if they ever went back. Did anybody do a story that said that Norrin Rad, the memories of his former life had been purged from him so he could do this job?
Yeah, that's how I thought he was able to do it. But he always remembered his girlfriend after he stopped being Harold.
Well, after they created her. But I mean, the way this story's written, you know, you got the impression that the Surfer had been with Galactus for millenniums.
Yeah.
Which, you know, obviously was not the case, but
yeah, in all honesty, his girlfriend should be dead from old age at this point, depending on how long they last. Yeah. Rhaegar is talking about how fighting game enthusiasts collectively pooped their pants when Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out and Galactus was the big bad. Let's see. The Galactus looked amazing in that game. He had a fitting theme, and even the I'd never really played that game.
Did you see the first panel after Alicia's talking with Silver Surfer and said, "On the streets below, the crowd, startled, apprehensive, cordoned off by vastly erected police blockades. Nothing."
Hey, look who it is.
Yeah, growing bigger, more fearful. And in the middle of the panel, there's Clark Kent looking for a way to get away to change to Superman.
And two guys who are completely red.
Looking to get away from Clark Kent. You wonder how he embarrassed them.
Wait, is that Lois and their child?
Yeah.
It's Noel Neal and the little Lois Lane. So we see everybody's got, you know, Galactus, the Watcher, the whole 9 yards have their attention. Cameras are pointed up. And Galactus has got his little power battery all ready to get his machine going, and he connects it, and he says, but the great Galactus reels back in startled disbelief. The converter does not roar. It's not operating. Never in 1,000 millenniums. Never has it failed before. Why?
Because a chinchilla.
Why?
A chinchilla ate the cable.
Yeah, I know, right? Chinchillas suck. And so we see that on top of his machine thing is just tearing it all apart. And he's saying, no matter what happens to me, this is one blasted machine that nobody's ever going to have to worry about. And he takes a piece of the metal and knocks Galactus off of the building, in which we get the scene where he catches himself, and Reader's like, no kidding. Yes, somebody that powerful would be able to defy gravity. And Galactus is like, F you guys, kind of gives the wrong finger, but we know what he's really doing.
We get the first appearance of the Punisher.
And ladies and gentlemen, yes, the first appearance of the Punisher in Marvel Comics, ladies and gentlemen, as we see a robot flying down towards them. And then we cut to the Watcher with Johnny Storm, and he's got his hands on him, and he says, you could serve them best by doing the unexpected, which they actually cut out 2 or 3 panels that we're not going to mention right here. But he sends them through space.
Time.
In space to Galacticus. I'm done talking. You talk, Eric.
So he sends him to Galacticus.
Galacticus, yes, Galacticus.
Galactus' homeworld to find. Dun dun dun. We will know soon enough. And then the Punisher lands. He's a little fella.
I know, right?
But he fights with the ferocity of another little fella that will be showing up on the Marvel landscape 10 years later.
Right. So the Punisher lands, and the thing's like, oh, well, I could beat him up. And Reed's like, keep your invisible force field ready, Sue. We may be needing it. And he stretches out to get the Punisher, but the robot and the thing start beating each other up. And the thing looks like he has them, but then the Punisher starts those whirly bird arms. And pretty much kicks the thing's ass and Mr. Fantastic. I kind of dig on the way he just kind of spreads Mr. Fantastic out, right? I mean, it's just whatever. Like while he's spinning his arms, it's almost like Reed Richards gets caught up a little bit and is stretched without his without his what's that word women like to throw around, but I don't pay attention to? Consent. There you go.
Reed's tired because he's never been stretched like that before.
There you go. Don't we all? All righty. So Sue puts the force field up around him to protect him. The Thing wants to get back out and go for another round with the Punisher, but she's not letting him, and the Punisher knocks on the force field. And Galactus calls his little dog, "Enough, loyal one. Back to the ship now. You have served your purpose. You've held them at bay for your master." And the Fantastic Three here is like, "Yep, well, back to square one."
This is before Sue had the power to make people have strokes, right?
Yeah, and the Punisher's off to go whoop up on the Newsboy Legion.
Seriously?
Well, it would have been if they'd been doing crossovers back then.
Oh, okay. And then we get Alicia talking to Silver Surfer, and Silver Surfer realizes that he has to help humanity from Galactus. And the Watcher says, "This new development, it's one I did not anticipate. Never before has his faithful herald dared to defy Galactus. This means a new element has entered the great cosmic game of life and death, an element which may destroy my own carefully laid plans to defend mankind. Without meaning to, the Silver Surfer may himself be the cause of Earth's total destruction." Dun, dun, dun.
Get over yourself, Awatu.
I know, right? Galactus, more like lactose intolerant. Yeah.
That was good.
It actually was, yeah.
I like what Joe said earlier. He said, "In recent fans, your first end of the world is always the hardest."
Yep. Yeah, wait a second. Is this the first time they were saving the world, much less, I mean, like
The universe,
actual,
I don't know.
Legit, yes.
because Dr. Doom's always trying to
yeah. This was. I'm going to say yes on that.
Okay. MK saying he did look like Clark Kent. If I recall, in the Comstorm, Brad retained his memory and was driven by the chance to reunite with Shala Bal to serve Galactus. Yeah, but I think that was after. Like you said, I think it was after.
Well, obviously, when he was created, no idea that he was going to end up with the backstory he had, and then had the character development. Mm-hmm. Because you're not thinking of those things in the moment. And like I said, he was written as someone who had been around for thousands of years doing this, when obviously that all had to be tweaked as his popularity grew and they continued to use the character. I'm just wondering if they ever came up with some kind of explanation, whether it was filled with BS or not, as to why he appeared to not have any concept of humanity at all when he came from a planet of humans.
Yeah. So Rhaegar saying Rhaegar Targaryen saying Sue Storm can make men have strokes. Did you hear her bitching in the beginning of this story? Yes, she can. Huff.
Yeah,
seriously.
For those who don't know what I'm talking about, she can make people have aneurysms by putting a little force field inside their brains and expanding it.
No, she can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it didn't happen.
All right, there you go. the thumbnail, looking at his crotch kind of thing. Okay. But
I don't know what's worse, the floating hand or the floating head by his crotch.
Well, considering he's a silver Ken doll, it really doesn't matter.
Right? Go nuts.
Nuts go. All righty. So anywho,
no nuts.
Yeah. Hold on just a sec. Let's get past the part where this tells me I can't. There we go. All right. And let me sign back in over here, even though I've signed in 3 or 4 times. I had the opportunity to buy this book for around $75. It was in crap condition, though. But then again, it was $75. This book, and yeah.
How long
All righty. Say again.
How long ago was that?
About a month.
Really?
Ago. Yeah. It was my comic shop had it, and I was like, huh, I don't know. I don't know if this would go. I don't know why I thought that. That's the dumbest thing I could have possibly thought about. Like, would anybody actually have been interested in a Fantastic Four number 50?
Oh, you went on a full screen.
Say again?
I was just saying you love full screen, that's why.
Okay, is that better? No, that's better. All right.
How was the front cover of it?
It was rough, but it had water damage on the back cover, and that was the problem. Yeah.
Sad. I'd snap that up in a heartbeat as long as if you could put it in something, and I don't care if it was missing a page or two.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if it had a back cover. If the front cover looks, because I said that the 48 that I still have,
yeah,
it's so messed up on top that it looks like a meteor storm is going through the logo.
And then
with what I do to comics, basically the cover is the most important, because if I had it, I would put it in one of these. And
you look at 48. A lot of those are being sold on eBay. They're trimmed, so you can tell like the watcher's foot is missing.
Huh?
No, it's not on the cover. He's not on my cover either. The foot's not there.
There you go. All righty. So you know what we haven't talked about other than the middle one is the covers. You know, we did talk about the second part, which is classic. It's one of the best Fantastic Four covers of all time. I gotta say, I do dig on this one. I know you're a fan of the floating head covers, but I've always liked this one. I didn't really hate on number 48. I think it's pretty good, but
he's surfing through a shitstorm.
But
that's why it's brown.
Of all of them, though, I've got to go with issue number 49. That's absolutely incredible.
These covers are iconic only because they are the covers of the Galactus Trilogy.
48 and 50, I may be with you on that one.
If 49 is the closest that it comes to giving again, what's going on in the story.
Yeah.
And unlike a lot of covers where they make the villain gigantic to show he actually is gigantic, so that makes sense. But this one here is like, oh, do you think maybe we should put the Surfer on one of these covers? Oh yeah. And even the bottom, it has that leftover trope from the very early days of Marvel where we'll just show what's going to happen later in the book in a little panel in the corner.
Yeah, which is ridiculous because this is the last chapter. People have been following Fantastic Four. This is the last chapter of this epic story. Who gives a fig about Human Torch going to college? We don't want to know about that. We want to know about what's going on with Galactus. And we see that he's got his machine up and he's all set and ready to go. And Silver Surfer flies in. Master, for the first time I realize the dreadful enormity of what you plan to do. You must not tamper with other worlds. You cannot destroy the entire human race. And Galactus says, watch.
I have pants.
Yeah, that's true. He's wearing pants again. Oh, it's just random panting and deep. You know what? Maybe the Watcher, in order to get him to go away, pantsed him in order to embarrass him. So I might need your help on this one.
Or maybe Heather Antos was the editor of the book at the time,
and nobody was paying attention. There you go. That makes a lot of sense. So Silver Surfer's flying around. The Fantastic Four is like, who dat be? And then the Silver Surfer is once again saying, please, Galactus, don't do this. And he says, no, I'm about to eat their planet. And Silver Surfer says, okay, hey, you know that power you gave me? I'm going to turn it around on you, and starts firing energy at him. And I love the fact that Galactus isn't even phased. He's like, that's it? You chose to betray me? And he's like, betray you never. But in truth, I would betray myself if I did not fight to prevent the annihilation of a people. Yeah, bub. How long have you been doing this job? Because yourself left I'm Silver Surfer is not an innocent in all of this.
Right. And again, so when they gave him an origin, yeah, that was the deal he struck. Yeah, spare my planet, I will do your bidding. So that kind of renders this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but either that or they'd always gone to planets that hadn't developed intelligence or whatnot. But you notice at the beginning, he goes, you have never witnessed the full extent of my own power. They don't let on that Galactus is the one that gave it to him right away.
Yep.
That's true.
It's only after he, unleashes it and basically, well, he actually encases him in energy for a few seconds. So maybe he might have given him a little more than he, realized, because let's face it, I mean, the guy can fly through meteor showers, so he's not a piker.
Now this is what is with Ben? I'm gonna touch it. What?
Hold on, Reed. No. I know you don't want me to do this. I have to do this. Yeah, it's really weird. I just want to lick it. It's Galactus in an energy field. I know. Just,
I love it. He's like, I tried to warn you. He's like, warn me harder next time.
Yeah. Hey, stop me from being an ass.
Ben got his tongue stuck on the first light bulb.
I can't say it's stuck in my tongue.
It's flubber time.
Yeah. It's clever than that. Oh goodness. So yeah, he tries to touch Galactus, who's surrounded by a lot of energy.
Oh my Jack, that's gross. How many clicks does it take to get the center of a Tootsie Galactus?
And Galactus, the energy goes out, and there he is, and he's like, "Where's my herald?" Yes, he starts talking with a country accent at this point. And Silver Surfer says, "I'm right here, but I'm not your herald anymore." And he starts firing the beams at him, and Galactus is like,
"Yeah, Galactus is like, you can't oppress me."
You can almost see it's like, get that weak shit out of here.
Yeah,
I have plot armor.
And Galactus fires his own rays at him, and he's like, yeah, I know you're fast enough to dodge these. Then why do it? Why not attack him in a way that it actually could hurt him? And the Fantastic Four is hanging around going, well, we got to do something. And Watcher is saying, I am doing something. And we see that Human Torch is still flying through space. And go ahead.
I was going to say, he's firing all those like fireballs at Silver Surfer. If I were like Reed, is like, oh my god, it's destroying the city. It's like,
yeah, I know, right? They've got to go somewhere. It ain't hitting Silver Surfer. There are people losing their lives behind all of this. And then we see Johnny return, and he is just, I love the fact that they write Johnny Storm in this as if he's going crazy. What he saw warped his little mind.
It's just Marvel.
Yeah, well, I know, right? It's too much for his mental capacity. And I thought that was really cool. One thing that I think is very let's say irresponsible is Uatu does not exactly tell Reed Richards what this thing does. He does say, stop, you must never turn the control lever to pull full power. It could erase an entire solar system in 1 microsecond. Now heed me as I tell you what must be done. I guess off panel.
What did you say? Oh, what is this?
But the first word should have been, yeah, don't. Okay, stop. Give it to me. Okay, now this can destroy a universe, kid. All righty. What you need to do is this. Here you go. Now you can have it back. Here
are the settings. You had plane, tank, and sheep herder.
There you go. And we see a little bit more of the battle between Silver Surfer and Galactus, but it's all the same because he's not hurting Galactus. It just isn't happening. I got to tell you, I forgot about the ice things and the little coming off the building. That was weird. But then as Galactus is fighting Silver Surfer, he gets his own tip, 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 tip. Excuse me, Mr. Galactus. And he's like, hold on, here we go. I can tarry no longer. Galactus yields to none. Upon your own head shall be your fate. I regret what I must do for all who live. I have cherished you the most. But now by my hand, the Silver Surfer must perish. And then we hear, no, Galactus, it is you who will perish, for we have found the weapon at last. And Galactus is like, holy shit, the ultimate nullifier. It's in the hands of a human. And then he turns to the Watcher. Are you freaking nuts? It's in the hands of a human. And Galactus agrees, hey, look, I'll leave your planet alone. Just give me the galaxy-destroying weapon, you freaking child.
Thanks for giving it back to me. I'm destroying your planet now.
Yeah.
No, because remember, Galactus' word is living truth itself.
Yes. But here's one thing I love, because he says, let's see. So for the first time since the dawn of memory, my will has been thwarted, but I bear no malice, for emotion is for lesser beings. And he's like, well, except for the herald that betrayed me. And he takes away the ability to fly through the universe. I thought that was funny. I bear no malice except for towards that prick right there. That prick's got to suck the pipe.
It's this. He did this again in the Galactus story from FF 171 through 175, the one on Counter Earth, where Ben had been changed back to Ben Grimm permanently, and he annoyed Galactus, so he just shot a beam through him that didn't do it immediately, but after it was all over, he busted out of the exoskeleton and he was back to being the Thing. So Galactus is not above a little, payback.
Yeah.
Emotionless payback.
Omar, yes, by this time they have introduced the Watcher's non-interference code, and it's brought up a couple of times during the story.
I thought that was in issue 48, actually, or 49.
Mm-hmm.
One of those.
Apparently, Dragon Ball likes the floating head. I just so happen to be wearing a green shirt today, so.
Well, if you want, he'll take the shirt off.
Look at my boobs.
Ain't nobody want that.
Nobody. I don't even want that.
Now, okay. Now we are at the end of the story. One thing I would say, the Watcher has just torched his non-interference act, policy, whatever you want to call it. Why? I realize because the book's called The Fantastic Four, not The Watcher. But in reality, it should have been the Watcher pointing the ultimate nullifier at Galactus saying, get out.
Yeah, it should have been, or we should have seen some sort of power of the Watcher that kind of goes, hey, here's the thing. We do have the ultimate nullifier. Galactus says, I'll take the gun. He should have gone, nope, that's going to stick with me. You're not going to touch this planet anymore. Otherwise, I will give it to them to use against you or whatever.
I think you have to do that. I didn't have any problem with Galactus, with Reed giving it to him or the Watcher giving it to him. As far as, we saw the Watcher. He could defy gravity. He could he could do this. We also saw the Watcher with the ability to send a human to the other side of the universe to retrieve that weapon. So there's your example of his power.
Yeah.
But as far as the minutia of both of theirs, like I said, we mere mortals aren't meant to know.
So Galactus says, yeah, the prize has eluded me. And he says, humans have great promise and be careful of it because it could either destroy you or lift you up. He disappears. Then we get a little bit of melodrama. Johnny is carried downstairs. There's Silver Surfer. Alicia Masters runs over to him to see if he's okay. And Ben's like, of course he's going to go with him and not the ugly guy right here looking like me. And so he walks away when Alicia's saying, oh, you got to meet my boyfriend, Ben. And she runs after him. And we check out the next day, and people, we got the Daily Bugle calling the Galactus, the whole Galactus trilogy a hoax. That's a bit unbelievable.
It was Spider-Man. I tell you.
Yeah, that's and everything, but Spider-Man threat or menace underneath it.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of times, JJJ would get sacrificed for a laugh. There'd be other times in Spider-Man where he would be portrayed as being, when he's not obsessing on Spider-Man, as being not only competent but a brilliant journalist and a fearless crusader for truth.
He's a YouTube troll.
Is that what he is now?
Yeah, well, not now, but I'm saying even back then. It's just he didn't have YouTube. He's it didn't happen.
He's running a blog now.
Yeah, 9/11 didn't happen. 9/11 happened because of it's that kind of thing. So
do you think Johnny saw the future of Fantastic Four life story, and he just got so scared?
That didn't happen either.
Yeah, never
so
happened.
my question is it as a ultimate nullifier? Has it ever been used?
I don't know, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if, assuming that any of today's writers have ever read this story, I wonder if Donny Cates ever did, because when you see something like this, it makes you realize just how ludicrous that Thor plot is.
The one where he's the
herald of the black
Black
Winter's son or whatever the hell is.
And when he kills Galactus, there's no consequences. But
that's ridiculous. The whole thing was they have nerfed Galactus so much. So there you go. I know this is your first time reading this story through. So from beginning to end, what was your first thought? And ladies and gentlemen in the chat, please. I know you're not reading it. This is kind of our way. Yes, we walk through the story, but I don't want to read it word for word because I want to encourage you guys to go check these awesome stories we're sharing out. Venkman is kind of our go-between almost between the chat and us, because a lot of these, this is your first time reading. What did you think upon reading this beyond, oh, wait, I saw the cartoon?
It felt short, actually, for being what it is. If they would have put in one book, it probably would have been one book full.
Yeah.
I like the fact there's a lot of action in it, too. I said, Sue getting upset was kind of weird, but they had to have some kind of strife in there between those two, or I guess for whatever reason. That's just the way they are. She's mad, or he's just constantly working. He's a workaholic. But I said, I thought it was pretty cool. You see Galactus, but I would have thought that Galactus would have been huge, just a bigger, he feeds on planets, but he shrinks down to stand on the planets. One of
the things that they did touch on is that he does actually get smaller as his energy depletes.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. That, of course, more appears in the Fantastic Four story.
But I gotta agree with Ben. I gotta agree with Breen because we call him Ben.
No. Yeah, and I think LK is absolutely right. These days, this story would be
it'd be a trade,
10-issue miniseries with individual issues of every superhero that's handling the panic that's in their own universe.
It would be a long Halloween.
Yeah, it would be horrible, a horrible, huge event, or they would have 3 different miniseries dealing with it, where at the end of one they won't show it, but they'll have a robot Vision going Galactus.
I like that scene there where the guy goes to punch, the thing, and I'm thinking the first punch should have broke his hand.
Yeah,
and then
you would think.
They just flipped him. I mean, I love stuff like that, superhumor. It's like going up to Superman. I'm like, I'm gonna punch him. Wow. It's a comedy. I love. So they at least put that in there. So, but yeah, my only complaint is it did felt like it was a really fast read, and sometimes that's actually good because it means you like the book. I just feel like it was just short because there wasn't anything else anymore. I wanted a little bit more. Maybe that's just agree because I like the story.
This is one of those where you think a longer series would have been.
Well, not a longer series, but like, at least because it felt, was it only 20 pages in each of these issues?
Yeah,
Or
and
less than?
Well,
another thing.
it really is only 2 issues, not 3.
Yeah.
You couldn't get the balls out battle to finish this story because there was no one to provide the opposition. So this kind of, they, in fact, I think it probably just stretched it out because Jack probably just drew a bunch of pages of the Surfer flying around, annoying Galactus, because there really wasn't anything other than pointing the ultimate nullifier at Galactus. There was nothing the FF could do to even get his note.
One thing they could have done to improve it is to actually show that turning on his machine for even an instant did actually cause damage to the world. Like there was some sort of ramification. Make us feel even more why the Fantastic Four have to win this. Actually,
it would have been funny if Reed would have built one. But it's not. It's a copy. It looks like it. So Galactus would have been fooled. That would have been funny.
Well, we kind of got that because the Watcher, that machine he used, he was actually showing them planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
So that was kind of as close as we were going to get to.
Yeah, but it was only 2 pages. I think active in real time would have actually hammered home that particular point a little bit better.
Well, that's what Marvel 2-in-1 100. If you want to see what a world looks like after Galactus is eaten, that's the book you need to read.
All righty. Let's see what shall be next week. What do you think? I'm kind of
the leaving of Galactus.
Going of Galactus.
How about some Thor? Is there any
Galactus goes to the dry cleaner to get his pants and gets the Hulks by mistake. They were purple.
Thor? You want to read a Thor story, Eric?
Walter Simonson, is there anything that's short?
I know a really good Walt Simonson story that I think we should do. It's from the 1980s, and it's when he becomes a frog. I think it's like 3 issues there again, or
yeah,
it's called Throg.
Yeah. Did you? I heard your eyes roll there, Eric.
Really?
You don't want to check out the Throg story?
Oh, I've read it. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do it, sure.
Well, I mean, Thor is pretty much the early Thors. I've never really read it, other than the Defenders thing story.
I mean, if you want to read a story, Venk, have you read much of the Simonson stuff?
I've never read any of it.
If you read, Thor, like 349, 50, and 51, and Avengers 250, it's the Casket of Ancient Winters story where Thor, Loki, and Odin have to team up. And then Loki immediately turns on him the second the crisis is passed. You read those stories, and you realize just how. It's why I said it's another reason why I say Marvel does not exist.
Yeah, these days no.
Because I'm sorry, Loki has to be portrayed like he is in the movies, or a kid. And I said modern Marvel readers have no idea just what a badass Loki used to be.
Casket of Ancient Winters is one I've actually been looking forward to reading because I've watched the animated adaptation of it, and I like that. So I mean,
can you look up and find out exactly what issues? Because I know they cross over with Avengers 250, and I know it's like 3 or 4 issues of Thor.
How about the 2-part Return of Galactus that included the introduction of Frankie Ray, a.k.a. Nova, says LK.
That's actually 3 issues, but that's 242, 3, and 4. You know what? That'd be a good follow-up. Let's do that next week.
All right.
Give another dose of that, and then we'll then maybe do the Casket of Ancient Winters.
What?
Casket of Ancient Winters.
What story you're talking about?
Yeah, it's the other Thor story that Venk and I are talking about.
It started in 346 of Thor. from the
I'm
80s.
good.
So that'd basically be what, 6 issues of Thor and an issue of the Avengers.
Okay.
But that's a lot of quality reading there, kids.
Alrighty, so next week we'll do the Return of Galactus with issue 232, 233, and 234.
242, 3 and 4.
243, 242, and 244. Okay.
And it's actually so much of an homage to Stan and Jack that it kind of follows, kind of like the 244 is basically it begins after everything has happened and goes back and tells what happened. But it's not, doesn't go straight through. So it's kind of not an homage, perhaps, but like I said, it's non-linear.
That was part of the Surtur saga, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My head's the same size as Ben and Reeves. Alrighty. Yeah. Hey, man, you guys planned our next 2 weeks. I'm fine with that. I get to pick the next one. Actually, we should do that anyway.
Who looks better?
Each
Ben
of us,
Grimm?
or me. Yes, we should do it fair. Like you pick one, I pick one, Venkman picks one, and then we let the audience pick one. That I think that'll be fair. Now we're trying, fingers crossed, tomorrow night. We wanted to do an independent, and Breen had a great idea. I just haven't found it yet. That we should do the very first appearance of Archie Andrews, and fingers crossed we're going to be doing that. If not, I'll find something really cool for it to do. But please, by all means, just check that out and be here. What time do you think? 9 or 10?
That is Pep Comics 22.
22?
Yep, number 22 from December 1941.
Why do I always think it was? Oh, okay. I had in my head it was Pep 41, but it was 1941.
Yep.
Alrighty. And
do you have any luck finding that on any of the sources that?
Well, I'm sure we will. But there you go, gang. So join us tomorrow for that, and then Saturday, of course, for the auction. And as always, thank you for hanging out with us, and thank you very, very much for watching. You guys have a good night.
Good night, kids.
Later.
All right.